back to when you were a little kid. Who was your favorite cartoon character on TV? For me, it was Dora the Explorer. She was smart, adventurous, had the best backpack, and could always outwit the wily fox. However, I was blissfully ignorant that my fascination with Dora manifested in a love of fruit gummies, Band-Aids, Frosted Cinnamon Puff cereal, and every other product with Dora on it. Pretty soon, I was putting on Dora Band-Aids proactively, even before I had a cut. Dora also helped me acquire a superpower along the way called Pester Power, where I could coerce my parents into buying me anything because my happiness depended on it. What started as an innocent admiration of aspirational traits transformed into unhealthy habits and a desire to have something rather than to be something. And during this whole time, while me and children around the world were unknowingly going through this behavioral transformation powered by digital advertising, corporate America was counting the catch 'em young customers, raking in the profits and smiling their way to the bank. In the digital world of today, for-profit organizations have direct accessibility to children in their most developmental and impressionable years, and are shaping their choices and altering their perceptions, thereby leading to increasingly unhealthy physical and mental health of our future generations. They do this by focusing on the cognitive differences between children and adults. So today, we'll first start by understanding how digital advertising is hurting our kids' health. Then we'll unpack the science and psychology behind it, before finally looking at some simple solutions on a global and personal scale. In a world where children are practically glued to their screens for a whopping 8.5 hours every day, the dangers of digital advertising are more consequential than ever. In fact, some estimates state that children will now spend more time watching TV than in class their entire education. A report by Common Sense Media found that children are exposed to over 10,000 ads each year, making them vulnerable based on their lack of judgment and exceptions. Now, a study published in the Journal of Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics found that 95% of the most downloaded free apps for children under 5 have some form of advertisements. Child and adolescent psychologist Richard Fried said, "There's too much money to be made to not advertise to kids." In fact, children account for almost over $200 billion of family spending in the United States alone, and $25 billion of their own purchases. With this kind of influence in spending, of course, us kids have a target on our backs. Marketing to children is deliberate, strategic, innovative, and exploits their developmental vulnerability. Whether it's a vibrant banner ad on a game app, an influencer promoting a new toy unboxing on social media, or a catchy jingle, these ads are inescapable and fly under the radar of parental oversight. An evolving form of stealth media are advert games, video games designed to promote a certain brand or product. These contain a variety of ads, from pop-ups to in-app purchases and videos that interrupt play. But they can deceptively influence purchasing behavior and promote unhealthy habits through manipulation. And then there's the rise of the kidfluencers, children with large social media followings that have catalyzed the $8 billion social media marketing industry. So with every click, swipe, and tap, children are now the medium and the targets, while the conglomerates are cashing in. Advertisers also use data collection tools to tailor their ads. In 2019, Google was fined $170 million for illegally collecting children's data off of YouTube without parental consent. The child is not just the gullible consumer, but the child's data is being traded as a commodity by the very corporations that are targeting them. Children aren't being educated or informed, they're being shaped by algorithms that only care about attention and spending. So now let's discuss some of the effects of digital advertising on children's health. The fast food industry spends nearly $5 million a day marketing products high in fat, sugar, and salt, and suggesting portion sizes grossly disproportionate to a child's energy needs. This is a leading contributor to childhood obesity, which has reached epidemic proportions according to the World Health Organization. Healthy foods, on the other hand, are advertised only 3% of the time in comparison to their counterparts. I, for one, have never seen an ad for beetroot or kale, although it kind of works in my favor. However, many of us have seen the get ready with me videos and 100-layer makeup challenges that populate every other reel in my Instagram. These, however, are not as fun as they seem. Children as young as 8 are turning up at dermatologist offices with rashes, chemical burns, and severe allergic reactions to products not suitable for their developing skin. These seemingly harmless trends are leading young children to the belief that their worth is decided by society's idea of the perfect person. This can lead to issues in self-image and self-worth, contributing to anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. However, the effects of digital advertising on children's health spans far beyond childhood obesity and self-image. Tobacco and alcohol advertising often targets the vulnerability of youth. They present their products as the key to improving self-image and independence, thus provoking children to use them. Whether it be Juul's usage of Ariana Grande-type celebrities to promote their product, or Heineken depicting a 2-year-old drinking beer in their ad, these companies utilize youthful actors to invoke a sense of relatability. So why is it that children are so susceptible and drawn to these ads? Children under the age of 12 have not fully developed the cognitive ability to distinguish between entertainment and the persuasive intent of the ads. This leads them to be vulnerable to emotional appeal and a soft target to establish brand recognition that can last a lifetime. In addition, their neuroplasticity, or ability to form connections in the brain, is at its peak. So repeated viewing of the ad solidifies the connection between the product and their dopamine pathways, which advertisers capitalize on. A study published in the American Academy of Pediatrics found that children as young as 2 can recognize and be influenced by advertisements. According to Professor Connie Peckman of the University of California, Irvine, children are much more attuned to reward, much less attentive to consequences and risks, much more tolerant of ambiguity, much more sensitive to social cues, and much more impulsive, so they don't have a lot of cognitive control. Their quote, an advertiser's dream. So, when a cartoon character says that Red Bull gives you wings, children will believe it. And so now that we understand the hazards of digital advertising on children's health, let's find some ways to mitigate this massive issue. To begin with, we can target policymaking. As recommended by the Federal Trade Commission, our government can enforce laws and restrictions that ban digital advertising to children. In addition, the regulation should be more stringent when it comes to unhealthy foods and products that can lead to addiction. For example, Quebec has banned all commercial advertising to children under 13, and it has drastically decreased the junk food consumption as compared to other areas in Canada. Additionally, in Australia, digital advertising is regulated by laws, such as the Australian Consumer Law, which prohibits manipulative data and protects personal data. With regard to data privacy, laws and initiatives such as Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood are well intended to protect children. However, they are inadequate for our evolving digital world. It should be mandatory to inform parents what data is being collected from their children, how it will be used, and get their consent. Secondly, parental controls such as screen time or ad blockers have been floated as potential solutions, but again, they're inadequate for the evolving digital world. Instead, parents should help their kids understand the true intent behind the ads and help their kids realize that the ads are trying to sell them things that they don't necessarily need. This can be done through a variety of activities, from the promotion of media literacy and open discussion about social media and ads, to the creation of a family ad-free zone and a focus on values rather than materialism. Children can grow up by the example of their parents, fostering their positivity in an environment where ads are seen for what they truly are. Remind your kids that no matter how cute or colorful the ad is, eating a Happy Meal doesn't make you happy for 100 years, although that's probably how long it takes for a Happy Meal to decompose. Help your children understand that they're much more than what they own. So, in conclusion, Carl Sagan once said, "The visions we offer our children shape the future." Developing brains need to explore the unbridled creativity of their minds without being adulterated by thousands of ads each year. Treat children as the shapers of the future, not the shoppers of the future. So now, as Dora always says, come on Boots, vamonos, let's go save our kids. Thank you.